For this Explore activity, this is called Name That Plant. Your materials, you're going to need your student sheets. They are located in your station's packet, and you're going to need some scissors and glue. So I'm going to give you the instructions. I'll read them aloud to you. Just make sure you're following along, and then I will explain what you're going to be doing with your sheets found in the packet. So this says, plants are one of the main groups of living things. One trait or feature found on all plants is roots. Roots are the part of the plant found in the soil. They anchor the plant in the ground. They also absorb water and nutrients for the plant. Another trait of plants is leaves. Leaves contain chlorophyll, a green pigment that captures sunlight. The plant makes its own food from sunlight. This happens in a process called photosynthesis. Stems are a third trait of all plants. In the stem, water and minerals flow up to the leaves from the roots. Food flows from the leaves through the stem to the rest of the plant. All plants are able to reproduce, but there are many different ways they do this. Some plants use flowers to reproduce. Brightly colored flowers attract insects and birds. These animals move pollen from one flower to another. Pollen is the male part of the plant that joins with the egg, the female part of the plant. Together they make the seed. Once the seed is made, flowering plants make a fruit around the seed. Tomatoes, pumpkins, apples, oranges, and almonds are examples of fruit. Some plants produce seeds, but not from flowers and pollen. These plants produce male and female cones. Pollen is released from male cones. If pollen lands on a female cone, it will combine with the eggs on the female cone to produce seeds. When these seeds are released from the cone and land on soil, they make new plants. Most plants that make cones are trees. These include ginkgo, redwood, pine, spruce, and cedar. Mosses and ferns are plants that reproduce by spores. These plants do not make pollen, eggs, or seeds. They release spores, which land on the soil and grow into new plants. On ferns, spores are found in brown spots on the bottom side of the leaf. On mosses, spores are found in brown sacs at the end of tall stalks. There are other living things that are made, often confused as plants. Fungi such as lichen, mushrooms, and mold are not plants. They do not have roots and cannot make their own food. Algae are also not plants. Although they make their own food, they do not have roots, stems, or leaves. Scientists use a chart called a key to identify plants in nature. In this activity, you will also use a key to identify different types of plants. So this is the key you'll be using, and these are the images you will be placing into the different spots on this diagram. So mine is sideways, but you can look at yours in your packet as I kind of go through these instructions. So this diagram starts with the question, make seeds or spores. So if the image makes seeds, you're going to go to the left, and if the image makes spores, you're going to go to the right. And then it's kind of a flow chart, and it goes on and on to different levels and asks you different questions. If you don't know the answer simply by looking at the picture, make sure that you use your resources and Google the question, and it will help you out. Don't just, again, just like the animal classification, don't just assume you know. Also go back on this video. If there is a part that tells you the answer, go back and look for that. Or as you can see, I've got most of the passage here. You can just pause this part of my video and use this to go back and read if you are confused about any of these images and where they should go on your diagram. Once you have cut and glued these in what you think is the correct spot, maybe check with a partner to see if you have matching answers. And if you don't, maybe talk about that a little bit and see if there's anything you need to change on yours. But other than that, that is the end of the activity.